12 months free online one-to-one private coaching sessions. And just in case you're going, did she say free? Absolutely. Yes, I did. So let me explain what it is, how to claim it. Very, very easy to do so. And the reason I kind of put this together and came up with this approach, and this is, you maybe heard me talk about it. I'm looking down here because this is where my slides are. You've maybe heard me talk about it in terms of shrinkflation, because I've been getting increasingly fed up with it over the last 2-3 years. And that's where you pay the same price, but often more. And if you're paying more, you often get exactly the same quantity, but a lot of time you pay more and you're getting a lot less. So your basket, if you want to put it in shopping terms, looks like the one at the end, but you're paying a lot more money. So this is another of those shrinkflation busting deals. My first thought with regards to this one was to do a lifetime deal for coaching, like I did the All Access Pass, which you have access to over 65 of my online workshops, webinars, programs, video webinar series, etc. You pay once, and every time I update it, you just get the new material when I'm running my own programs. However, of course, as I sat and I thought about that, as much as the idea sounds lovely, lifetime coaching deal is not sustainable in terms of delivery time. So shelved that idea, but thought, what's the next best thing I can do? So I started thinking about, okay, what's one of the biggest problems with coaching? And where is it? There we go, that's the one I'm looking for. So it's a little bit like this, because the idea for the lifetime deal was you'd have basically coaching on tap. Something comes up in your life, you go, right, I'd like to do a session, let's do some coaching, let's do some therapy. We get it in the diary, boom, we work on it in the moment. One of the problems I've seen with coaching and therapy in the last 23 plus years that I've been a coach and therapist is the inconsistency of it, because people do a little bit here and then they have a little bit here and then a little bit here, and so you don't kind of get that really nice rhythm and flow with it. So what I decided to do is put together an annual program, but even a year. We're already in April and we're hurtling towards double figures in April. It feels like the new year was only a couple of days ago, so even a year goes fast. So what I decided to do was do a 2-year program. And then I thought, well, why don't I do a bonus year for free? So I'll explain to you how you can kind of get the bonus year. So it means rather than having to go, oh, what can I do this month? Or what can I do this quarter? Or what can I do this year? You've got it all there, and you've got like a bank of coaching and therapy that you can draw down on and switch that tap on whenever you like. So I thought, okay, I want to do something that basically solves that problem, and it solves the problem of time as well. So you're not sort of thinking, oh my God, I better hurry up because I've only got one session. You've got like 36 sessions a year. And when we start, for example, it might be we do some of those in quick succession because we might be doing breakthrough style stuff, mindset, limiting beliefs, negative emotions, whatever it may be. Or you might have a situation at work, let's say, and you want some executive coaching around that. And if it's been a big situation ongoing, we might do some stuff quite quickly, consecutively. But then you'll be going off to implement what we've done, and it might be a few weeks or even a few months before we touch base on it. But you're not having to sit and worry going, oh my God, because you've got the 2 years and 3 if you qualify for the 3 years at your fingertips, and you draw down on it whenever you choose to. So that's the kind of the thinking and the premise behind it. Now it's going to be similar, but the big brother version, big sister version of my transformation program. So I ran this, I think it was probably 2010/11 is when it landed. So similar to this, it was limited. So I wanted to work with 5 people. Actually ended up working with 6 because number 6 was like, oh please, and it's a good job they did, because then it didn't return for nearly 10 years. But this was from somebody who did the transformation program, which was a 3 to 6 month program. Now this particular person did it in about 3 months, because we were very organized and we had a session every week for an hour. And she said it does what it says on the tin. My life is transformed. So that was Claudette, and some of you might have seen the video on my testimonials page. And what was lovely about that, a few years before, she had been on my website, had watched a testimonial video from someone else, Amana Shaka. And when we started the session, she said, I watched that video and I was thinking I would love that to be me. I would love to be the person standing there or sitting there. Amana was on my sofa and sharing my story and sharing about how much my life has changed and transformed. And so within 3 months, That's exactly where she was. And now other people have watched Claudette's video and been inspired by her. So I just absolutely love that. It does what it says on the tin. My life is transformed. So that was in just 3 months. We've got potentially 3 years, which means we can be going deep and wide. And this is really kind of encompassing your life rather than a specific issue. Don't get me wrong, the specific issue is really powerful. And for those of you who've been around me a while, you may know my logo is a water drop. Hold on. So this has been my logo since the year 2001. Because with this kind of work, for the first 9 years I was in practice, all I did was 1-day breakthrough sessions. So somebody comes in at 10 o'clock in the morning, we work together for 7 or 8 hours, they go out at the end, your life is transformed. And my intention for that, and the way they were structured, is that it will be a catalyst, and that the impact and benefit of that would continue to ripple out into your life for years to come. And sure enough, one day out of the blue, I received an email from a previous client, somebody who'd done a 1-day breakthrough session with me. They were working in an organization. They had a colleague who was looking for an executive coach. He said, Marilyn's brilliant, you should speak to her. So he was just emailing me to see if I'm still about, am I still taking clients? I said, yeah, sure, put her in touch. And then he emails back and he says, oh, by the way, I've been meaning to tell you that the effects of that breakthrough session that we did are still rippling throughout my entire life. And I was like, oh my God, it feels like 10 years since I've spoken to this person. So I went back and I looked on their email. You know, you can put a little note, and I'd put a note of the date that we'd done the 1-day breakthrough session. We did that 1-day breakthrough session 10, as in a decade prior, and the effects were still rippling throughout his entire life. And although I always knew that that is what the breakthrough sessions are, it was really lovely to have that validation come back 10 years later to say 1 day's worth of work and it's still rippling. And I remember years ago, I was thinking about it because a journalist was having a conversation with a journalist. And I remember someone back in the day, now this must have been around, I'm going to say around 2002/2003. Somebody phoned me up and they said, how much are your sessions? At that time, it was £350 for the day. And they said, oh, that's expensive. Now, my NLP brain was like, compared to what? And so I sort of, fashioned a question along those lines. And they said, well, I see a psychiatrist. I see a psychiatrist and I see them every week and it's only £60. And I said, oh, that's, fantastic. And if that's working, I said, so how often do you see them? They said, once a week. Very matter of fact. So while they were talking to me, I think it was actually this. No, it was actually. Let me grab it. This very calculator. This is the exact calculator because it was, as it is today, it's sitting in my desk drawer. It was the other side in my previous desk, but I got my calculator while they were talking. I said, oh, and I said, and how long have you been seeing them for? 10 years. So I quietly, switched on the calculator and I worked. I said, okay. And I said, okay, 60 times 4. And then I did times 11 because I'm figuring there's going to be a little bit of time off for Christmas, summer, etc. When I saw the number and then multiplied that by 10 years, I nearly fell off my chair. Now, I didn't say anything to this person because it's not my business to be up in their business telling them what they should do. And by this time, I'm like, this is really not the client for me. But I just said, oh, well, yes, I guess it might seem that way if you're paying in one lump sum versus spreading it out over a period of time. But that just seared into my brain, in terms of, oh my God, the amount of money they're paying every single week over 10 years. Woo! And that's just not the model I was using. I was just doing the 1-day breakfast session, boom, boom, we're done, have a nice life. And I don't mean that in a flippant way. I mean it in a, that's exactly what happens. It does what it says on the tin. So let me tell you a little bit about the program, how it is structured. Ooh, let's see. That might be a little bit small. All right, so what we got here. Oh God, that is a bit small, isn't it? Well, hold on a minute. Let me see if I can pull it up on my other screen. So what I'm doing is here, I'm talking about some of the kind of solutions and things that will happen with regards to taking this particular approach. Let's see. I'm just going to see if I can pull it up on my screen. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment. And actually, yeah, be thinking about, do you want to do this? Because the clock is ticking on this one. We've got a couple of days if you want to get the bonus year. Let me see. Just looking at my own Facebook. God, have I not shared this one on my Facebook page yet? Well, I ought to. I'm going to share that as soon as we're finished. Right, now I'm going to go here. Verify I'm a real human being. I'm not a bot. Can you imagine? Humans now have to verify they're real to a bot. Isn't that just bonkers? And that's odd. Yeah, I don't think I've shared it on my pages yet. I'm going to have to rectify that situation immediately. Right, okay, so let me just tell you from here, just that you're going to have to slightly look up my nose as I kind of tell you what's on the screen. Right, okay, number one, you've got plenty of time to lean into the coaching. So you're not rushing, you're not having to do the stop, start thing. You've got that wonderful sense of continuity. In terms of this one, it's a one-time investment, and then that's it. You don't have to think about that anymore. You just draw down on the coaching, on the therapy whenever you want it, whenever you need it. You've got access, as it stands at the moment, if you're watching this in real time, you've got access to over 23 years worth of coaching knowledge and experience, tools and techniques. And one of the things I would say, particularly coming from the background where I was doing the one-day breakthrough sessions, really one of the things I specialize in is rapid transformation. And some of you who have just done a 1 hour session or even just listened to a free webinar will know that is the case. So you get 2, maybe 3 years. If you're going for the free bonus year, you get all of that. Imagine what we can cover in 3 years if we can kind of make some massive changes in just 1 hour. We also, you got access to over 40 years of industry experience. So, you know, I have a wide and varied background. For example, when I say to people I was a specialist remote working implementation consultant, they think I just made that up for the pandemic. I'm like, no, I've been doing that since 2003 as a management consultant. I used to work for an investment bank. I've worked in education, training, retail. My first job was for Barkers of Kensington. I worked in the cash office, the export department, etc. And I work across a number of different industries, both in terms of the kind of corporations that I run corporate trainings for, and in terms of the things that I'll be designing and delivering across a number of different fields. Wide and varies. I mean, I remember, I think my most the one that I was like, whoa, this is going to be interesting. I delivered a keynote presentation for, there was called something like the Australian Barcode Association. And you didn't mishear me, as in those barcodes. Now, this was big time barcodes, the sort of things you'd put on a building or on a truck, not the thing you'll get in the supermarket and go beep, beep. But that was the organization. So when I tell you wide and varied experience, I'm really not kidding. What else we got here? Online, of course, so there's no need to travel. We can be anywhere, and I'm going to show you an example of that with one of my clients in Australia in a few moments. And global, you could be anywhere. The only thing we then need to do is coordinate the time zone. So with my client in Australia, her session, for me, it was always the morning, and I was coaching Lauren after she'd finished work in her evening. So we just need to coordinate there. So those are some of the things. Now, if you want to check out the whole thing, it's www.bit.ly/coaching-package-tc. So that's bit.ly/coaching-package-tc. T for Tommy, C for Cooper, just like that. Right, so that's that. Now, some of the things that are going to be included in this as well as the one-to-one coaching sessions, which we'll do, we can do them by Zoom, we can do them by telephone, we can do them by Facebook Messenger, you know, voice messenger. So however you want to do that. You're also going to, in between that, you're going to have some laser coaching time that you can draw down on as well, because it might be you have a quick thought, or you want to do a sound bite, you know, sound something out, you know, bounce an idea around, what do you think about this, or have you got an approach for this, or what would you do in this situation? So you can ping me a message and I'll just very quickly fire something over. Either I'll type something back or I'll do a quick audio message for you. So you've got the laser coaching in between times, so that kind of keeps things moving. What I'm also going to be doing, and this is optional, what I'm going to show you next, but I think it could be an interesting way to do it. And one of the people who's doing this program tried it out this week, which was very cool, is I'm going to have a coaching bot as well. So it's not something that's in the domain of ChatGPT. This is a closed system. So the bot will first of all draw information from my website, transformationstm.com. Might also get it to go to marilyndevonish.com, which is my blog. And then you can ask a question. Now, what it will do, it will then draw from my website to answer the question. I can't see who's who's posted the question. All I can see is the answer. I can see the question, but I don't know who posted it. And I can see the answer that the bot gives. Now, if I'm happy with the answer, I can leave it as is. But if I'm not happy with the answer, I can go back and I can refine it, so that if someone were to ever ask that question again or something similar, the bot is going to answer more like me and say exactly what I would say. So the more you pose questions, the faster it will learn, and the faster I can then go in and make some tweaks and changes. Again, that's optional, but it could be, let's just say you're in Australia and I'm here in the UK. Occasionally I do actually sleep. So I might be asleep, for example, and you might have a question. Because I have got clients who, and seriously, I'm not kidding you, I've had clients message me that I haven't spoken to for 3 or 4 years, and they go, oh, I just wanted to say thank you. I'm like, cool. What exactly are you thanking me for? And I remember one of them, she says, I had a dream about you last night, Marilyn. There'd be something I couldn't solve, and you spoke to me in my dream. That's very cool. The way it often happens is people will say to themselves, what would Marilyn do? Like, people have often said, oh my gosh, I wish we could bottle you. You know, what you say is pure gold. I really, really wish we could bottle you. And this is actually some Alaskan gold from the wonderful Sunny Olmo when she went to Alaska. So this is pure gold. But clients will often say, I wish I could bottle you and carry you around with me in your pocket. And so that's what the app that I've got a couple of apps now, but that's what that app is for. So you can kind of tap in and listen to some of those things and sound bites. But this will be a version of that where you can quite literally have me in your pocket, on your device, on your phone. And for those of you who are in the program, you'll get access to the coaching bot. So that's one of the things I'm planning to do as well with regards to this program. And then, as I said, of course, it's global. So it's almost like having coaching and therapy on tap, where you ping me a message. What I'm going to say to people is, like, when you're ready to do a session, send me 2 or 3 dates and times, and remind me of your time zone if you're abroad. But just send me 2 or 3 dates and times. So these are looking good for me. So that's what I did this week. A client said I can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we did Wednesday. Simple as that. Get it in the diary. And she asked me on the Tuesday, so on the Monday, so 2 days later. But sometimes somebody might go, you free this afternoon? And if I am, I go, yeah, sure. How do you want to meet? And we'll just do it. So it is like having coaching on tap, and you can be anywhere in the world with regards to doing this. So again, bit.ly/coaching-package-TC. So let me actually one other thing before I tell you about how to get the bonus, the free bonus. Accountability. This is always really key. And I don't know if any of you have ever had the situation where it is easier for you to get something done when you're doing it for someone else, or you have to report back to someone else, than it is to do your own stuff. I know I've definitely had that, in motivation terms. It's like the carrot and the stick analogy. So accountability is a big part of this. So one of the clients I worked with this week, we talked about them doing a particular thing that they really know would be good for their health and well-being, both their physical health and their mental health, yet they are not doing it. They messaged me the very next day because I'm making my breakfast. I'm like, I wonder how they're getting on with that tasking. And I was thinking, I'm going to drop a little message this evening just to, give them a nudge. I didn't need to do that. By the middle of the day, they're like, Marilyn, I've just been out and done X, Y, Z, and it was actually raining. And I was like, hey, what the heck? I'm doing it anyway. That's fantastic. They've not done that for themselves for years. After one hour session, they're doing it and they're happy about it. So accountability is a big part of it. That's just kind of naturally built into the program. And this is optional. Again, you don't have, just like you don't have to use the AI coaching, but if you wanted to, it's there. There's also, I've got an accountability portal. What that means is you can go in and put it's like an online to-do list. You can go in and put in the things that you're going to do. You put the date and the time where you're planning to do them. And then the system will then scan through that and go, oh, you said you were going to do this on Tuesday. You haven't ticked it off yet. So what the system does, and it sends you an email saying, hey, this is on your to-do list. It's past its due date. Have you done it? And the way it can be set up is that only you can see that, or you can set it up so that I can also see that. So I could go and have a look and go, we've got 7 things on this list and only one of these is ticked off. Is it just because they haven't logged in and ticked it off? Or is it because it hasn't been done? And even if I never look at it, the fact that I could does something psychologically. There's something in your brain that goes, well, hold on a minute. and something clicks in and you find yourself more naturally motivated. So we come in at the accountability from a number of different aspects. And I said that, you know, being in the accountability portal, that is optional. So the bonus year is very, very simple. You do not have to jump through any ridiculous hoops or anything like that. All you have to do is book the 2-year coaching package. And if you are on my e-newsletter list, the bonus year is completely free of charge. So you purchase 2 years worth of coaching that you can draw down on as and when you need it. So you're going to be determining the time, the space between, the frequency, etc. So you got the 2 years that you're going to purchase. You get the 3rd year absolutely free. Now, part of the reason of getting it for free, because, you know, I really appreciate the people who are on my e-newsletter list. So I actually just wanted to do first of all, a thank you for being on the list. So it's a free gift for those of you who are on my e-newsletter list. So if you're an e-newsletter subscriber and you've purchased a package, that 3rd year is automatic for you as a thank you for being on the list, and to give you a bit more buffer time, because I appreciate that life gets in the way. I don't know if you've ever invested in something, purchased something. It could be you've purchased a book, or, you know, these now are a bit outdated, but those are CD programs. But you could book, CD program, online training, whatever it is, and you've got really good intentions. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And then a week goes by, and then this happens, and then that happens. Before you know it, 3 months have gone by, and then, oh my gosh, this has happened. Then before you know, it's half a year, and then before you know it, you're at the end of the year, and it's on your New Year's resolutions list, and then the same thing can happen again. So what? Yes. Oh, actually, it's a good question. I will answer that. So what I'm going to do with regards to this one, you have time to lean into it. You've got time and space without thinking you've got to rush through it to work through everything you want to work through and do the things that you want to do. But it's a thank you for those of you who are on my e-newsletter list. And it's as simple as that. It's going to, so book the 2 years, everything else comes for free. Hold on, let me just see, have I got that? So if you're not on the e-newsletter list, and you know, if I do something similar to this in the future, then you can head to my main website, which I'll say it and I'll spell it. It's transformationstm.com. So www.trance, T-R-A-N-C-E, as in hypnotic trance. You're under. So T-R-A-N-C-E, F for Freddie, so F-O-R-M-A-T-I-O-N-S. TM is in trademark, so transformationstm.com. When you land on the website, 2 things that you can do. The e-newsletter box is on the top left, so scroll and you'll see where you can put yourself into my MailChimp list. Top right, depending on the configuration of your device, you're going to see a red button that says What's New. When you click the What's New button, a panel slides out, and that's my like events list, events calendar, things that are coming up in terms of events, webinars, free stuff that I'm doing, etc., offers. Actually, I must put the free photo reading on there as well, and I'll maybe add it into the comments. That's coming up next week if you're watching this in real time. So click the red What's New button and you'll find links to many of the what I've been talking about here today. And then you'll, you know, receive the e-newsletter from me a couple of times a month. Now, people who are on my e-newsletter list, when I first launch something, I do the pre-launch, I usually let my list know about it first, and then they get a 10% discount on whatever the price is that goes out to the public. So those of you who are on my list, you would have also, this was a couple of weeks ago now, but you would have had 10% off the pre-launch price for this program, for example. So if you're not on the list, get yourself signed up, and as and when things roll out, and if I'm looking for volunteers, if I'm testing out new material, for example, I will go to my e-newsletter list. I used to call people I say I'm looking for a guinea pig. Now I say test subject, sounds less ominous. But that's where all of that happens. So get yourself signed up to the e-newsletter list if you're not yet on it. And yeah, and I guess really the easiest thing, and in terms of a little bit about my background, my skills, my experience, I stumbled into personal development. I did a business studies degree, postgraduate marketing diploma with the Chartered Institute of Marketing. I was studying to be a chartered accountant. It was very quiet, very shy. I wouldn't have said I was lacking in confidence and self-esteem, because that wasn't in the lexicon of my language at the time. I would have just said I was an introvert, and I am. In terms of the MBTI, the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, if for those of you who have done that psychometric, I am off the chart introvert. That is, I'm INTJ. So I'm off the chart introvert. I still am. However, when I got into personal development, they're starting to talk about limiting beliefs. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. I'm not capable enough. I can't do it. All of that was what would constantly run in my head. That would, of course, affect my confidence and my self-esteem, and was one of the big reasons why I was terrified of public speaking, to the point I could barely even speak to my own family. And I was like that right up until the age of 32. And I would have said it was something you were born with or not. When I realized that it was a skill that you could learn, I was like, oh my, hold my herbal tea. No, actually, that's not true. I had to get over myself first, because in a nutshell, what happened is, because I realized one of the reasons I was going to be a chartered accountant is I thought I wouldn't have to speak to people. You know, I could just be in the background, tap my little calculator. I won't have to interact with people. Of course, I realized pretty quickly, I was doing the ACCA, that to be a half decent accountant, you've got to actually speak to your clients. I'm like, oh no. So I decided that I would sign up for a communication skills course, or so I thought. So I signed up for this course, and then you get all the joining instructions, and I open the box, there's the folders, the books. Back in those days, there were cassette tapes. And I'm looking at this thing, and it's like, I knew what I'd signed up for in terms of communication. What I hadn't really factored in was, I was like, timeline therapy, hypnosis, oh no, Huna, what the hell is that? So I actually phoned the company. I said, this isn't what I signed up for. Can I have a refund, please? Because it was several £1,000s. Now, they said in true NLP style, a reframe, no, come to the training, and if you don't get massive value, we will give you a refund at the end. Now I'm hopping mad, because I'm like, you got several £1,000s of my money. You're now going to waste a week of my time as well. You've got to get out of here. So I arrived at the training, face like thunder, arms folded, head tipped to one side, eyebrow raised, and my hand was going up every 10 seconds, asking loads of questions, because I wanted to catch them out, so that I could prove that there is no way you could just talk to someone or go up above your timeline and change stuff. And just to put this into context, this was in October 2000. In September 2000, so a month before, I'd contemplated suicide, and I'd sat and I'd written out a list of all of the ways I could kill myself. And some of them I discounted, like, there's one I could, in front of the train, etc. But then I thought about all the commuters going to work and how frustrating it might be, and seriously, when I say that now, people think I'm joking. At the time, I was serious as a judge. And it made perfect logical sense to me to think this thing through, and then thinking about the impact on others and who might find me, etc. But that's how low I was when I did that training. So the thought that I could talk to someone and float up above my timeline, as I was saying it in my head, like mocking it, I was making fun of it, and hypnosis, with the watch and all that nonsense, that was just alien to me, having come from a business background, studying to be a chartered accountant. It was all nonsense. What new age hocus pocus, as one of the journalists that I worked with at the Metro had put it. When we did a one day, again, it actually wasn't even a full 1 day breakthrough session. We worked together for 6 hours. And that was around, because I was a relationship coach for the first 9 years I was in practice. And she'd had a bad breakup, and she kept rebounding back to this person. And then it would all go pear-shaped, and it got to the stage where her friends and her family just didn't want to hear another word about it. They're like, we're done. We've told you what we think. Stop going back to him. We're not interested. And so, and I'd written to the Metro saying, I'm a coach, I'm a therapist. At that time, of course, I'd warmed up to the idea. Coach therapist, would love to, can you write a piece about me? That was basically the long and the short of it. But so she came to write the piece, but was quite hostile in the beginning. And I'm like, what's going on here? So after about half an hour, I said, is there something is there something going on? Is there something you want to say to me? And she says, well, yeah, my boss sent me. I don't really want to do this piece. She says, I'm from America, United States. There's nothing you could tell me about therapy that I don't already know, because we are way ahead of you in the States. So her words were, she said, I've got the hat, the mug, the mouse mat, the T-shirt, and there is nothing you can tell me about therapy that I don't already know. Those were her words. So I heard myself saying, fine, turn off the tape recorder, put down your pen, let's do a breakthrough session. If you like it, you can write about it. If you don't like it, you can write about it too. And as I said those words, I almost wanted to grab them back, because my logical mind then kicked in. What are you doing? She already hates you. So we do the breakthrough session for about 6 hours, because we didn't have the full 8 hours, because she just come, to do what she thought to do the interview. And I didn't think too much more of it, except like, please God, hope she likes me. And then, so this was in the summer that would have been summer of 2004. It was the 4th or the 5th of January 2005. My then partner David, he sends me a message, and he says, "Have you seen the newspaper today, the Metro?" I says, "No." He said, I'm gonna fax, because we had fax back then. He said, "I'm gonna fax it to you." So he was at work. He scanned it in. He faxed it to me. And then my voicemail, because I'd only just moved, and my voicemail was full. And my first thought was, they probably haven't set the phone up properly, because I've only been here like a couple of days. How can it be full? Nobody even knows where I am, my number. I thought it was odd. So I hadn't listened to the voicemail. I just know the voice thing was full. Then I opened my emails, and I am seeing all these emails about Metro. Now, at that point, I hadn't, and then the fax came through. So I read the fax first before I listened to the messages or read the emails. And my heart sank, because it starts off by saying, I first read Devonish's guff on, hypnotherapy. It sounded like new age hocus pocus, a bit of therapy, a bit of hypnosis. And I was like, oh my God, she hates me. She hates me. But I thought, I'm going to keep on reading, because like, why didn't David warn me about this? He just said, I'll fax it to you. And I carried on reading. And then I get to the end of the article, and it says, I don't know what she did, but it was seamless. And best of all, no effort on my part. She says, I'm getting things done. I'm ticking things off my to-do list. And I'm no longer thinking about Mark, which was the person she was trying to get away from. Seriously, but my heart was in my mouth when I first read it. Never met her before, haven't seen her since. We were connected on socials years ago. But yeah, 6 hours. And it's a piece in the Metro newspaper. It's called Breaking Up the Easy Way. So, I've got a copy of it here still, because it was one of those groundbreaking moments. So all of that, as I said, rapid transformation is my thing. And of course, lots of experience across So this is just what you can see here is a little collage in the corner under the grab this amazing deal while you can. That little pink dot on the stage is me. I'm doing a talk for Psychologies magazine, because I was a media expert for Psychologies magazine for many years. So whenever there was TV, press, radio to be done, I was a spokesperson for them. That one next to it is me speaking in Spain. My friend Kathy Hector and Mark Twizzle, they run retreats in Spain. So they invited me over to run some courses, training sessions, do some coaching. I think I did some soul plan reading on that one. Next to it is me Talk TV. Next to that, Barbados High Commission, me back on Talk TV with Vanessa Feltz, me in the makeup chair getting ready for, I think that was for a photo shoot. That's me on stage with Greg Braden, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, for the TCCHE, the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. I've been the host and MC of that for the past, 5 or 6 years now. And then you can see there, that's me on stage with Nassim Haramein. So you'll get to tap into a lot of that kind of skills and experience to just give you a flavor of what it is. And really, the only thing you need to do once you've purchased your place is to get a date in the diary. Get the date in the diary. As I said, you can chill. The person who booked first, they said, can I put a date in? I was like, yeah, sure. So booked a date. And then they said, oh, I can't make it now. I've got to go and travel. No problem. Let me delete that out of my diary. When you're ready, let's book it in. And then we finished our first session. I then said to them, do you want to book one in now and pencil it in? Or do you want to see how the week plays out? The rest is, and she said, no, let's play it by ear. And when I see what my schedule's like, I'll book it in. So we're kind of flexible about this and she's on my newsletter list. So we got 3 years. And the best of all, to do the 2/3 year package costs less than doing the same number of coaching sessions for just 1 year, but doing them on an ad hoc basis. So you'll effectively paying for 1 year and getting 3 years worth of coaching. It's the closest thing I could get to in terms of a lifetime coaching deal, to do the thing where I'm going to buck the trend of shrinkflation. And as I said, it says here, grab this amazing deal while you can, because I'm not sure it will return. As you know, if you followed me over the last 20 plus years, over the 2 decades and coming into 2.5 decades now, There'll be times I've run something, be that a workshop, a program, a webinar, etc. It was amazing. And I've never run it again because I'm like, I've done it. Cool. I'm happy. What's the next thing? Or something else comes up, my life goes in a particular direction. And for those of you, some of you who will know, I haven't really done that much in the last 3 years because I've been a local counsellor where I live in Central Ward in Watford. And that's taken a lot of time, and the meetings are always in the evening. So I haven't been able to run my evening seminars. The community events are always at the weekend. So I haven't been able to do my weekend workshops. And so I was like, okay, let's come back with a bang. What's one of the most transformational things I could do that I can get as close as I can to a lifetime deal in terms of being aware of, money, finances, where people are at, getting massively amazing good value for money. And this was the closest thing I could come up with. So if you want to do it, the annual, the deal for the free coaching, the 12 months coaching, so that's a whole year of bonus coaching, that deal ends midnight USA EST. So for us in the UK, that's Pacific time, there would be 8-hour time difference. So for us in the UK, if you're watching this in real time, that's sort of 8-9 o'clock on Monday morning. I say 8-9 o'clock because I have to come down and change the settings and all the rest of it. So it's around 8-9 a.m. this coming Monday morning. For those of you in the United States, it's going to be midnight your time, USA time. Now after that, you can still, if there are places available, book the 2-year program, but you just won't get the third bonus year. So the bonus year ends this weekend, stroke Monday morning. For those of you who are in the UK, check your time zone. But you can still, if I've still got capacity, you can still do the 2-year program. You just won't get that bonus year for free. And the bonus year, if you were to do the same amount of coaching on an ad hoc hourly basis, that would be about £5,400. But you're going to get that for free if you're booking this weekend. Right, I think I've said all I want or need to say about this. If there's anything I haven't answered, let me know. Now, when you go to the Bitly page, let me pull that up again for you. Oh, actually, let me just show you that I did say I was going to show you this one. Right, so here we go. That's what I'm looking for. This is the wonderful Lauren. Now, Lauren, because, when I say I'm coaching remotely, and as I said earlier, well, maybe didn't delve into that one in massive amount of details, but what it means is when I say I'm a specialist remote working implementation consultant, I've been doing that since 2003. I've been going into organizations, mainly central and local government, to design and write and implement flexible remote and what we call smart working policy and strategy. So I've been working online and encouraging and teaching and training companies how to do the same since 2003. And I've been doing online coaching, online therapy, and online training since 2005. So well before the pandemic pivot, and in a time and a place and a space where people are saying that isn't possible. I'm like, yes, it is. I'm doing it. So this is one of my clients who is in Australia, as you can probably tell from my accent. For those I haven't actually met, I'm in the United Kingdom. I live just outside of London, is your nearest reference point. I'm in a place called Watford in Hertfordshire, actually very near to Wembley. So if you've heard of Wembley Stadium, it's around that area, North London. So this is from Lauren, and she did the equivalent of a 1-day breakthrough session, but we broke it down. We used to do blocks of either 1.5 or 2 hours, depending on the amount of time that she had. But it was effectively 8 to 10 hours worth of coaching. So she says, Marilyn is truly spectacular. I was lucky enough to work with her remotely whilst I am based in Australia. I did the breakthrough session. It was both challenging but so rewarding. Marilyn challenges you in such a positive way where you just can't hide from anything. She is also a wealth of knowledge and is able to tap into every aspect of life, whether it be in business, gardening, or family life. My friends will laugh at that because it's like, what does Marilyn know about gardening? Trust me, I'm good with strategy. But I don't garden myself. Right, gardening. I really valued our sessions and I found life synchronized so much faster for me. I would highly recommend Marilyn to anyone looking to take life to the next level. Make the investment in your self-growth and you won't regret it. Thanks again, Lauren. Now, at the time, Lauren had a wonderful cafe in Australia and did those wonderful, you see those luxury cakes, and oh my gosh, I used to look at them from afar on her oh, they're just gorgeous. So that's a business she had, but she wanted to transition out of that. Lauren is now the CEO of a company called Lydy, Lydy. Liddy, I think it's liddy.com.au, but type in Lauren, WAINER, and LYDI. Liddy will come up. It's now a global company, and the idea that she had was creating reusable lids. You know, when you get what your Starbucks, your coffee, and all the rest of it, Costa, whatever, wherever it is in your native country, and those come with those plasticky disposable lids. And she realized that was a big issue in terms of the recycling, the waste, etc. Because you use it for a couple of seconds, boom, then it's gone. And so Liddy is a lid that you own. You get your coffee from the store and you put your own lid on it. Helps to insulate as well, etc. Check out the website. She's been featured in some incredible publications. Liddy didn't exist when we spoke, but Lauren knew that she wanted to do something different. So really amazing. So do check out what Lauren has been doing, because it's an incredible story and a really incredible product. Well, that's plenty long enough. Now, if you know someone, it may be that this program isn't for you, but if you know someone who could benefit from having coaching and therapy and over 40 years of experience on tap, I'm also a certified life coach and executive coach, and I'm trained in about 20 different modalities: NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, HUNA, EFT, DNA theta healing, access consciousness, soul plan reading, you name it, archetypal profiling. The list is long. Past life regression, FLP, future life progression. It's a long and eclectic list. Tarot reading, there's a lot. So one thing you're not going to be doing, we're not doing, is photo reading. That's a whole license training. That's a whole different ball game. But if you're watching this in real time, Dr. Paul Sheely is running free photo reading, taking through the photo reading workshop. Starts the 8th of this month, sorry. So check that out, completely free of charge, no strings. And if you did want to then purchase this program, it's something like 60% off. But you don't have to buy anything. You just get and I'll put the link for the guest pass in the comments or in the description of this video. So the photo readings are included, but in terms of the therapeutic modalities, and we're starting off with the soul plan. Our first session is a fact finding. Why did you sign up? What do you want to get? And the benchmarking, how you know you've achieved it. I then start coming up with ways to design the program, because of course it's bespoke. And then our second session, we use your soul plan as a diagnostic, because your soul plan can be very specific in looking at limiting beliefs that relate to that aspect of your soul plan, your soul destiny, and the way the soul plan fits together. Even if somebody's got the same aspects or very similar on the soul plan, it's a kind of a different interpretation, if you want to put it. And it's really interesting. Yesterday, there's a wonderful documentary about Robin Williams, the actor, comedian. And it was Robin, and they just had a series of photographs. And so his co-star for Mork and Mindy, she had the photograph of when they first met. I get goosebumps now. It's just really lovely. So she talked about that photograph. There was someone else who had a photograph of him and Robin in a park, and they both dressed up as mimes, and somebody took their photo. So he talked about that memory. There was his first wife, who had the photo of the first time she met Robin Williams in a bar. And she was just describing, she said, oh my God, he was just perfect in every way. The smile, the energy, the physique, and it was just lovely. So they show us the photo, and then they show us the person either behind the photo or their memory of it. And it was only like 8 to 10 photos. They're really fantastic. The reason I bring up Robin Williams is after he passed away, in the Soul Plan group, Blue, who runs the group, he did Robin Williams soul plan. I was like, that can't be right, surely. You can often, people might have duplicates, because you've got the aspects of the soul plan that sit around 6, and then you've got the soul destiny in the center. So 7 different aspects. Robin Williams had the 10-1 energy, not once, not twice, not 3, not 4, but 5 times. Never seen that in a soul plan before, up until that point. The 10-1 energy, I've got the 10-1 as a worldly challenge, for example. As I said earlier on, I'd contemplated suicide when I was 32. The 10-1 energy potentially carries with it suicidal tendencies if you haven't worked through your stuff. So there were people on the documentary last night when they heard the news and they heard how Robin had passed away. One of them was like, no, that can't be right. No, you made a mistake. Robin's fine. But when you saw the soul plan, it's like, whoa, isn't that interesting? And the one I did for Whitney Houston, if you haven't read it, go read it. I did it posthumously. Whitney was not a client of mine. But when I was and there's an aspect of the soul plan that as I was doing the reading, I was like, this doesn't make any sense, because it talked about confusion around sexuality and perhaps, you know, having partners from, well, I know that there's lots of genders now, but you know what I mean. But it didn't make any sense in terms of Whitney until a few years later, actually not that long ago, probably 5 or 6 years now. The partner that she really was in love with in the early days and wanted to be with, but was told by the music industry, etc., that it would not be good for her career, was a woman. And then I suddenly remembered that. I was like, oh my God, I remember doing the soul plan. I did it. I wrote it in. It's in the assessment that I did. But at the time, it just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, this doesn't. Everything else was, and it, you know, talked about, you know, anyway, read the soul plan. It's there for free. It's on the blog. It's in my soul plan metaverse room as well. I'm going to put all the links in there as well. But yes, we're going to use the soul plan as a diagnostic. It's normally mind-blowing. People are like, whoa, their whole life laid out on 5 sheets of paper. But yeah, it's going to be cool. So I'm going to say final time, get yourself over there, bit.ly/coaching-program-tc. I would love to work with you. What you can also do, if you're not sure if the program is right for you, let's book a free 20-minute consultation online. Just ping me a message. I'll send you the link where you can book that. We'll have a talk. If it's for you, that's great. If it's not for you, that's great too. The reason you want to do that is a bit of fact finding, because 2 years, if you're booking after this weekend, or 3 years if you're on my list and booking in the next couple of days, that's a long time to spend together. So you want to make sure that we're a good fit. And it doesn't mean we have to like each other like buddy, because as Lauren says, there'll be some challenge. I'm not always going to be your smiley friend because you're calling me because you want to get particular results. And maybe there's some stuff you haven't been doing that it would be a good idea that you've decided you want to do. So my role is to help you achieve what you want to achieve. But, you know, we've got to be a good fit in other ways. So, yeah. If you know someone who could benefit if the program isn't for you, please feel free to share this with them. Share that, send them the link, send them the bit.ly link. That would be absolutely amazing. And I look forward to working with you if you want to take this one forward. Like the transformation program that I launched in 2010/11, there are a limited number of places because this is one-to-one. So time intensive for me. So there's only a set number that I'm going to do so that I leave time for running workshops, the ad hoc stuff, etc. So yeah, if you feel this is for you or you know someone who could benefit, please feel free to share. That would be fabulous. And I look forward to working with those of you who want to blow your mind in terms of what you believe yourself to be capable of, tapping into that limitless potential. And I don't use those words lightly, because really, one of my clients said it was like seeing the world with new eyes. It was like the scales had fallen away when they did the 3-month program. For them, I think they went through it in 6 months, but in a short amount of time, as you've heard with just the testimony from Lauren, a lot can shift, a lot can change, a lot can transform when we're using these wonderful skills and techniques, etc. And of course, the Marilyn magic. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. And thank you to those who have signed up and are joining me for 2 or 3 years of amazing, incredible, deep and lasting change and transformation. Whichever area of your life you're going to be focusing on. And as I said, we're probably going to work our way around majority of the wheel of life. So hold on to your hat because it's going to be amazing. Marilyn Devonish, the NeuroSuccess coach, over and out. And you'll see the link going across the bottom of the ticker tape as well, where you can find information. And I look forward to working with you. Catch you all later. Bye-bye.